Yeah, it's weird because Atlanta wasn't really like a hip hop town at all until, I mean, at least on a national level, like until like the 90s and stuff, and then it just like became like the mecca for all hip hop. Like everyone who's successful now has a house here, or at least lives here part time.
We didn't really get a music industry presence until hip hop happened, and then you started to get record companies in Atlanta like LaFace and Darp and Rowdy and Jermaine Dupri and all those guys.
You had Chris Cross, Escape, TLC, trap music to Dungeon Family to India Irie to
bass music, you know, the dance music, the Edward J mixtapes and all that stuff, and then it went from that, you know what I'm saying. Then Outkast them came on through, kicked the door down with the lyrics.
You know, so many different lanes, and to Ludacris, you know what I'm saying.
Tip and Scrappy and all them cats came in. Then you know the Shield came in, CT, USDA, you know what I'm saying, with the G's of the Streets is Watching movement, the Trap or Die, the Cold Summer movements.
All them folks came out of Atlanta, so with that alone already opened up the lanes.
Open up the lanes, yeah.
When finally we then started to have a music business in the city, and that's really what the hip-hop industry did for us. Prior to that, we just had artists of certain genres that lived here.
I think pretty much all the punk kids that I'm friends with listen to rap and listen to hip-hop.
I know Big Gip from Goody Mob called Ian, our guitar player, one night and wanted him to come to the studio and do something, but he was an idiot and said he was tired and didn't go.
Did we rag on him a lot for that?
A lot of the hip-hop kids, a lot of the community there, they get a kick out of the punk kids. They're like, y'all crazy, because we're a lot alike.
The difference between hip-hop and alternative is really nothing.
We're doing kind of different stuff, but it's on the same page, you know?
And then not only that, you know, we're all kids from the 70s and the 80s. We're brought up in a whole different mindset. We're more tolerant and we're more open to, you know, differences, and we recognize the beauty in that.
Atlanta came out of the real original hip-hop scene, and that's probably inspired the rock scene because the rap scene was doing so well. Kind of inspired the rock scene to try to think outside the box and have their own little niche.
Hip-hop influences a lot of these kids, and the way they dress, and, you know, and you can even hear it in the music, like the last Black Lips record. You know, they had Cole rapping on a track and stuff. So hip-hop has got, you know, it might not, the two, it's like oil and water, but somehow they mix well here, you know.
I believe that hip-hop and rock and roll are exactly the same thing, especially hip-hop and punk rock. I believe they are the late 70s wave of a youth revolution and a youth rebellion and an expression, an urban expression.
Hip-hop and punk kind of go hand in hand with each other. They've always been, you know, I mean, nowadays I guess hip-hop is a really mainstream form of music. You know, it's like all the kids who skateboard now, they listen to hip-hop, they don't really listen to punk, but it's still kind of, to me, hip-hop's kind of a punk culture. I don't know, it kind of comes from the same kids not having anything, doing something on their own, you know. In Atlanta, hip-hop, I feel like put more creative stuff in their music, and I feel like that's kind of like the punk ethic, like making something different, you know. Maybe, yeah, going back and stealing some old stuff too, but you still doing something exciting.
Atlanta still has a lot of soul, being that it is like such a high black population, being that it is the beginning of the civil rights movement, you know, this is the place where, like, you know, Martin Luther King laid his head to rest, you know, and it's just like there's so much going on here with like the whole tradition of family and the whole tradition of down to earth and grassroots. Like, that's the whole feel, you know what I mean?
It's the new Motown, it's the new Harlem.
It's no different from the Harlem Renaissance when bebop wasn't popular. You know what I mean? And hip hop derived from that. So when they call this the so-called hip hop mecca, you can't not compare it to Harlem because of the expression, the way that people are expressing themselves.
You know, they call it New Motown, New Harlem, Black Hollywood. It's a mecca of talent, you know what I'm saying? This is where everybody come with their talents, and, you know, it's a big melting pot for talents all over the world, you know. This is the hot spot, just like California's for the movies, you know what I'm saying?
There are direct comparisons to Atlanta nowadays with the music revolution that's going on, and, you know, years ago in Harlem with the Harlem Renaissance and the art. and the things that were going on there. I mean, you had an energy of expression that came out of struggle and came out of pain.
You had the civil rights, you know, there were struggles there.
There's so much roots and so much realness in history here, especially for black people.
Atlanta is one of the most populated black cities in the country, so you know the entertainment became centered around hip-hop.
And even bigger than that, now we're at a point in 2010, 2011 where the city is, you know, is known. Like when I first got down here, I mean, it had its buzz. Everybody knew Atlanta was where it's at, but I came at a great time. You know, I really got to see what they had built and what was about to be done with it.
There's a reason why people are coming from Chicago, and people are coming from Memphis, and people are coming from New York, and people are coming from LA to Atlanta to make hip hop. You know what I'm saying? It's because those people have developed a community where it's healthy.
It's hard to compare what's going on here to anything else that's ever happened, you know, because it's really diverse here. It's kind of random how everybody will come together and work on a project together or go out to a party together or, you know, anything like that.
There's two different sides of the game. You got the Black Hollywood side of the game, which is actually the new mainstream thing that's going on. A lot of big artists, a lot of big money being pushed in, a lot of big names controlling that money.
Atlanta is very cliquish. It's very, what is the word? By cliquish, I mean that, yeah, everybody, you can run into everybody, but if you're not really associated with the right people, like if you mention the wrong name at the right party, you can be ousted in the way that they won't let you in. So Atlanta's very fucking cliquish in that sense.
And then also you have a big rock scene, a hotbed for that, whether it be indie rock or a punk rock.
You got two scenes. You got a scene where all of the real artists go, you know, that are at Apache, they're at the Masquerade, the MJQs, they're at, you know what I mean, they do all of the pure hip-hop, you know what I'm saying, independent cats, got their own CDs, yo, catch them down little 5 points with a book bag and like, yo, check my music out. And then you got the scene with the clubs, the operas, the, you know what I'm saying, the club venues, the theaters, the pures and stuff like that.
It is definitely, I think, segmented in compartments, you know.
You got a lot of people fighting against that. 50% of the pop is fighting against this cliquism. You feel me? The other 50% is really instilling that home. But that's a factor that you got to deal with in A.
You have kind of like your East Atlanta scene that's kind of indie, you know, rock, jam band, and you got, you know, your soul scene that Apache Cafe has just been so easily, like, you know, I guess stuck into that genre and kind of have been only known for that. And you got some other spots that are doing their rock music, but I think Atlanta has a vast music scene. It's not necessarily known for that. We have a rich cultural music fabric, but you know, when you think of Atlanta, I don't think you think of the diversity. You might think of the hip hop, and that's cool. I mean, thank goodness we have Andre 3000 and you know, Stankonia or whatever that music group is, but because of their popularity, you know, I think Atlanta is considered kind of a soul hip-hop music industry, but we do so much more than that.
The hip-hop community in this city seems to support itself more than fight itself, whereas there's a lot of rivalry in you know, the rock-oriented, a lot less a solidarity of a union of like this, we are an Atlanta scene.
There's not as much of like a rock community as there are rock cliques. You know, there's different little like cliques of bands that get together and they do their whole thing.
Cliquish as fuck.